Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Please be seated. Oh.
Council, we are reconvened in session. Welcome, Mayor Smiley.
Thank you, Madam Council President, honorable members of the Council, state senators and representatives, department directors, community partners, and fellow residents of our great city of Providence. I'm pleased to be here with you tonight to present my proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. As I look around this room, I'm reminded about what I love about Providence, the passion and dedication of so many people from different walks of life working together in a unified commitment to seeing our city succeed. From the Merchants Association supporting our unique small businesses, to the neighborhood groups building beautiful community spaces, to the city leaders and city staff who exemplify the best in public service. It's the people in this room and the people at home tonight in living rooms and boardrooms across our city who've put us on a path to becoming the world-class city we all know we can be. And for our part, our administration has worked every day to build a safer and stronger city that's more efficient, more effective, and more responsive to the needs of our community. We are building a city hall that works for you. And over the last year, we've seen what can be accomplished when we engage with one another and when we put the needs of our residents first as our guiding compass. Together, we have developed a budget for you tonight that invests in quality of life city services that matter most to our community, while also responsibly avoiding the difficult financial decisions that cities across the country are having to face as federal funding runs out. It starts right here in this building. Since taking office, we have brought a culture of collaboration, communication, and results to City Hall and all city departments. We are so fortunate to have some of the brightest minds in Rhode Island working within these walls, giving everything that they have to the city that we love, and they are seeing tangible results from their hard work. That didn't happen by accident. It happens when we go into our neighborhoods to recruit the best talent Providence has to offer. Smart, dedicated people from communities too often underrepresented. It happens when we set standards for our boards and commissions to ensure that they better reflect the diversity of our community. It happens when we professionalize and digitize our city systems, bringing City Hall into the 21st century and freeing up our staff to focus their time on impactful work that moves the city forward. And it happens when we set measurable and achievable goals for our departments and then provide them with the support they need to achieve them. Public service is never easy, but it is always noble. And I truly see that our leadership team is one of the greatest accomplishments of the first year. And so I say to every city employee, thank you. I appreciate everything you do. Can we give a round of applause to the hardworking city employees who raise the bar every day? Providence has some big challenges ahead, but when I look at what we've accomplished together, I stand here with absolute confidence that we're ready to take it on. When we took office last year, Providence was in an unsustainable financial position. Though temporarily propped up by one-time federal pandemic relief funds, those funds were set to expire or run out. And while many cities around the country use this funding to cover program gaps or pay for temporary services, we saw an opportunity to make long-term, tangible investments in vital community resources with the remaining dollars. True, the money would expire, but we set out to ensure that the impacts would be felt for generations to come. I am proud to say that we have maximized every federal dollar available to us. We have spent it on high-need, high-impact programs and resources that will have long-term benefits for our residents. For example, we invested $4 million in improvements to India Point Park, Merino Park, the Woonasquatucket River area, beautiful public spaces enjoyed by hundreds of people every day. We invested $3 million in emergency programs for our unhoused residents, providing safe shelter for folks across the city in the face of increasing storms and cold weather. And we responsibly weaned ourselves off of those funds, previously used to fill budget gaps, by making difficult decisions to where we are today. We are not experiencing the dangerous fiscal cliff that many cities around the country are experiencing as they develop their budgets this month. And I am proud to say that I have kept my promise. Tonight, I am submitting a balanced budget with no reliance on those one-time dollars and no increases to taxes for businesses or residents. Now, finally, we made our largest commitment of ARPA dollars, $29 million, to address the most pressing issue facing our city today, the housing crisis. By further investing in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we took a vital step in our strategic plan to build more affordable housing in our city. Indeed, we have been laser-focused on addressing our housing crisis from all angles. Over the past year, we've invested in over 400 emergency shelter beds for our residents, providing a temporary solution for people and families in every corner of our city. And thanks to the tireless work of the Planning and Development Department, our Housing and Human Services Department, and all of you on the City Council, we were so proud to be the first community in Rhode Island to adopt new rules for how we build housing to respond to the current crisis. We restructured regulations and zoning to incentivize new housing development. We streamlined city review processes and improved permitting transparency, increased efficiency, and expedited decision-making. As a result, last year alone, we created 843 new housing units in Providence, and there's another 500 units already underway this year. Too often, housing is framed as an either-or approach, a false choice between affordable housing and housing at every other price point. I believe in an all-of-the-above approach. When we take abandoned properties, vacant lots, and former commercial properties and turn them into housing, everyone wins. Whether it's a low-income resident looking for a safe place to call home or a young couple looking for more space to grow their family. New housing at all price points are transformational for the people who live there and the businesses and community around them. It's an investment in our future and an investment worth making. As we develop our comprehensive strategic growth plan to foster more residential development and business development in our city, we have spent countless hours of citywide meetings, neighborhood events, in-person and digital engagement with the people of Providence. Providence is poised for growth, and we're committed that it grows inclusively and sustainably, increasing our competitiveness with other cities, but still nurturing the things that make our city unique. This new comprehensive plan will shape every aspect of our city's future, from how we spark new development to how we make Providence a national leader in climate readiness. So thank you to the City Council members here tonight who have engaged so thoroughly with this process and helped us develop a plan that will guide Providence to grow into the world-class city we know it can be, a place where people are excited to visit, work, and call home. Now, Providence is fortunate to have assets that most cities can only dream of. A thriving food scene, innovative small businesses, incredible arts and culture, and leading hospitals, universities, and nonprofits. As we look to grow over the next decade, we must do so in concert with these other sectors, ensuring that all boats are lifted by our rising tide. Last year, we reached a landmark agreement with our private colleges and universities to make a generational investment in our city. This new pilot agreement more than doubles their cash contributions to our city and serves as a model for reimagining the relationship between cities and their higher ed institutions. Thank you. This agreement has been recognized nationally, and when I speak to my colleagues around the country, they ask me how they can get what we got. Brown, RISD, PC, and Johnson & Wales are anchor institutions in our city. They create thousands of good jobs for our residents and support hundreds of small businesses, provide educational and community benefits throughout our neighborhoods. These new agreements, which amount to almost $450 million in contributions, are structured to build on the many areas in which we can benefit one another. From investments in our schools and green spaces, to support for critical infrastructure projects, to a new working group focused on higher ed and community leaders working together to address neighborhood quality of life issues, this pilot agreement is a game changer and a framework for progress. Now, when it comes to our largest nonprofit landowners, our colleges and universities are on one side of the coin. Right now, some of our hospitals are on the other side. Whereas our educational leaders came to the table with an open mind and a collaborative spirit, we need to look for the same from the hospitals. So I say to the Lifespan leadership team, it is time to come to the table with a meaningful contribution. I am confident that we can reach a fair, equitable, and mutually beneficial agreement that ensures we grow together for the decades to come. Hospitals throughout the region have figured out how to make meaningful long-term investments in their host community. Lifespan, you can too. Now, building a city that works means putting your safety and security above all else. Our police officers and firefighters have difficult jobs, and they need the right tools and resources to do them effectively. Since taking office, we have worked to strengthen the relationship between the police and the communities they serve, and we've focused their efforts on both violent crime and quality of life crimes. Under the leadership of Chief Colonel Oscar Perez, we have removed hundreds of illegal guns from our streets. We have stepped up enforcement of speeding violations. We've increased enforcement of noise pollution, and we have confiscated over 200 ATVs, sending a loud and clear message that those vehicles will not be tolerated. Now, all of this work is only made possible by the dedicated officers who serve our city every day. And we are committed to building a police force that is representative of our community. It took nearly 160 years to put a woman on the command staff of our department. It is inexcusable that it took that long, but I am incredibly proud of that milestone. I want to take a moment to commend her for her leadership. Major Alyssa DeAndre, please stand and be recognized. Additionally, I am incredibly proud that we have graduated a new academy of diverse recruits, with another one already underway. Keeping Providence safe means continuing to fund police academies until we can get back to full force, while also investing in the men and women who are currently on the job. And I am proud to say that this budget and our recently negotiated agreement with the FOP does just that. And so tonight I am calling on the City Council to approve that contract and this budget, which once again includes funding for another police academy. Now, I also believe that not every call requires a response from an armed officer. And while we have focused our policing efforts on violence and quality of life, we've also increased our public health response, providing additional tools to address emergencies, including in this budget an increase in funding for our successful partnership with Family Services and their GO team, which pairs Providence Police with qualified and trained social workers. In our fire department, under the leadership of Chief Silva, we have instituted a new pilot program through which EMS units are assigned bicycle details in and around downtown. Having trained medical personnel on the ground and able to respond quickly to everything from an opioid overdose to a mental health emergency has provided critical support to our residents and saved lives. This year, we're looking forward to expanding that program to more neighborhoods throughout the city, beginning on Broad Street. The fact is, The needs of our community have changed, and the demands on our fire department has changed. Last year, we saw an 11% increase in the number of non-emergency calls. And of course, we are all aware of the mental health crisis facing the entire nation. As a result, last year, the fire department deployed a new unit called Mobile Health One, a mental health and non-emergency medical response vehicle. This budget continues to support that dedicated team, but also adequately staffs the department so that they can serve the community in these new ways. Now, from attending community meetings to participating in neighborhood development initiatives, to a new cadet program that introduces Providence Public School students to a career in public safety and EMS, we are building a new era of trust and transparency that will benefit our city for years to come. Improving quality of life through the city is about more than just enforcing our laws, though. It's about getting the little things right, the first time, every time. From plowing roads to picking up trash to fixing sidewalks, we are building a city hall that is both proactive and responsive, addressing issues before they arise and also ensuring efficient and effective delivery of services when requested. One of the first things I did after taking office was commission a neighborhood community satisfaction survey, eliciting opinions from thousands of people across the city about how we can better meet their needs. Based upon this feedback, we made a series of targeted investments in technology and infrastructure that are now starting to yield substantial results. Through our capital improvement plan, we allocated more than $87 million to improve roads, sidewalks, parks, and green spaces, the top complaints from businesses and residents. We implemented new staff training and installed project management software that's allowed us to get the work done better and communicate it back to you faster. We are creating a new PVD 311 system that will launch this year, enabling us to respond better to requests of every type. And we have provided $150,000 in grants to community organizations to clean up litter and beautify our streets across the city this spring. I'm also proud to announce tonight that later this week, the Department of Public Works will be rolling out modernized parking meters throughout the city, making it easier for those who live, work, and visit Providence to park and shop at our local businesses. At the same time, we've worked across departments to establish a strategy for addressing graffiti, and finally, budgeting dedicated staff full-time to the removal of graffiti. This spring, we will have a citywide graffiti cleanup to address tagging on both private and public property. And we have done all of this while creating new opportunities for intentional art in our city. We are, after all, the creative capital. We've got some of the best artists in the world, and we are committed to making space available so that they can showcase their work without having to worry about doing so under the cover of darkness. There are no assets. There are no assets more important to Providence than our people, and that starts with our students. 5 years ago, the Providence School Department was taken over by the state to address significant and long-standing shortcomings in the education that we were providing to our young people. When I ran for mayor, I pledged to oversee the transition back to local control, but I made it clear that doing so without first seeing tangible improvements would be unacceptable. So last year, I announced the formation of a new working group to oversee the return of our school district to local control. A working group made up of diverse and talented leaders from across the city. This group has been hard at work to develop a process for a smooth and efficient transition. And this summer, we will be launching a community engagement process to help guide us and ensure that every voice is reflected in the steps that we take next. But while we prepare for this transition, we are also moving forward on programs and partnerships that better provide educational opportunities for our students right now. And that begins with our youngest learners. We have supported 16 home-based childcare facilities with over $400,000, which not only helps improve quality, but increase enrollment, and more importantly, provides 133 children with better early learning facilities, setting them up for success for the rest of their life. Another 119 students will now be able to access outdoor space because of this program. Tonight we have with us Anna Benscombe, Monami Carrasco, both of whom are family childhood educators, along with Jeannie Cola and Kayla Aruda from LISC, who are key partners in this work. The work that they do to support our families sets these children up for success. Please give them a round of applause. So I'm excited to announce that we'll be releasing another $300,000 in the next round of infrastructure grants later this month. Thank you for everything you're doing for our children. Last year, for our K-12 students, we cut the ribbon on 3 modernized schools, and we are currently under construction on 3 more. That's $240 million that we have invested in rebuilding crumbling school infrastructure, and I want to thank the General Assembly members who are here for making that funding available. These new schools will be true assets of 21st century education. Additionally, we have continued robust summer learning and employment opportunities, expanded recreational options, including, amazingly, for the first time ever, the first ever city-led soccer program. We remain committed. We remain absolutely committed to pre-K and are investing in facilities to ensure that every single child in Providence will have a seat who needs one. And perhaps most importantly, I am proud to say that this year, we are directly increasing the contribution to the Providence Public School District by over $3 million. That is the largest increase that the city has made to PPSD in over 7 years. Now, perhaps the biggest challenge facing us over the next decade is climate change. Every resident and business in this city knows all too well the destruction that increased severe storms and flash floods have caused. And unfortunately, these events are becoming a more and more common occurrence. Rain is the new snow, except unlike rain, unlike snow, it is not constrained to one season. We must be ready to address the impacts of severe rain at any moment, and that means proactively investing in climate readiness infrastructure that protects our community. And over the last year, that's exactly what we've done. We've invested over $3 million in long overdue improvements to our hurricane barrier. At the same time, we are upgrading our stormwater and sewer infrastructure to be able to handle the increased volume of rainwater that we're now seeing and projecting into the future. Our infrastructure simply was not built to handle 21st century storms, and it is time to bring it up to date. Storm response is a cross-departmental effort. I want to take a moment to recognize the Department of Public Works and the Providence Emergency Management Agency, who have been at the ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ready to respond to whatever comes their way. Their leadership has protected property and saved lives, and we are lucky to have them. While we move forward with mitigation tactics that address the impact of climate change that we're already feeling, we're also taking steps to decrease our carbon footprint with substantial policy developed right here by the City Council in partnership with our Sustainability Department. In the last several months, I was proud to sign 3 meaningful pieces of legislation that will decrease our carbon footprint, lead by example, create healthier neighborhoods, and put the capital city at the heart of America's clean energy revolution. Climate change is a global problem with local impacts, and Providence is on the front lines. But the challenge of climate change is also an opportunity for a new era of clean energy and the jobs that come with it. We are ready to lead the nation. We're joined tonight with some folks from Climate Jobs Rhode Island who will be doing that work to help us lead the nation in that work. Can you all please stand? You know, I used to say that Providence was one of the country's best kept secrets. Well, the secret is out. A study released this year shows that Rhode Island was the 5th-ranked state in the country for attracting new residents. A recent report by Forbes included Providence in one of the top 25 cities for the best quality of life. And in the past year, national publications have called us both the best up-and-coming city and America's comeback city. Absolutely. When I speak with mayors around the country, they ask me why more and more people are choosing our city, because not every city is growing right now. And I tell them about our work in City Hall, but I also tell them about our great restaurants, the world-class theaters, the live music, the public parks, the vibrant downtown. I tell them about our welcoming and diverse neighborhoods. I tell them that Providence is more than a home, it's an identity. It's a badge that we wear proudly wherever we go. There are some tough challenges ahead, to be sure. But from continuing to address the housing crisis, to better providing for our students, to supporting the small businesses impacted by the Washington Bridge construction. We are facing big issues with no simple solutions, but let me tell you, that is exactly where our team thrives. This budget is about regaining a strong financial position, setting us up not just for success next year, but for the decade to come. It's about using the funds that we have more efficiently and more effectively to serve our community, to serve all of you. By continuing to bring in new businesses and residents, we will grow our tax base, and we will continue to provide the highest level of city services. Over the past year, we have shown that we can do big things, but also get the small things right. We have built a city hall that works for you. Thank you.